Dialectic Space Podcast. Is with me, Ibrahim Sonko. B. Kalia de Nyabendoronga Mola Kamana Mialonko, arguably Al Nanamala interviewed anywhere. Of course, I'll be there along. He is everybody's favorite. And for a very long time, since I started this podcast thingy, I've been trying to bring him on the show. In fact, there are things that we argue about, things that we don't agree with, that goes on the show on the background. But I've constantly said to him, "Look, I want to talk to you because I think your story is important." And because he's not a person, me alonko, he talks a lot publicly. Of course, he writes. Mola is all over social media. But finally, Alanin Nakiang Dual Jabita. Nata sort of finally to have him here today. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who are looking forward to today's conversation because, of course, Mega Mola, we've all seen him, but Mola for a story, I'm not sure more. Long. So it is out of that I tried my best to convince him, of course, with the blessings of Namadamo and a few other people, to have Mola here today to talk to us about a variety of issues that are important. One, Mola la Apotomintole, about a family nyadi lokono. Of course, you also get to know that Mola Bama Muntafona teacher to know and the influence Amia Minsoton Tolbera life kono. And I am Mojamal Min Karandi. Beyond that, Mola found an influence in terms of being exemplary for a lot of young people to get into politics publicly. Because, of course, I'll become Mola Jakadiamo, but what you will get to learn eventually is that he has been extremely influential in helping a lot of young people to have the boldness and courage to declare their political inclinations or leanings. But I think Mim Faraman set a call for Mumeko Walam a time at the TRRC. There's a lot of questions that a lot of people want to that a lot of people want Mola to answer, especially Yankuba Turela storying, I think that and a host of other issues that people will be interested to hear Mola takes on. And finally, I hope we can talk about UDP, United Democratic Party, because I know that's very important to Mola, and everybody know that too. And we're going to spend some time to talk about that UDP Lasanji Tansaba Jura Romi Mekir in science and what that means to him, but also UDP and most of the Miyanka Framanseta J Baba Kele Mojama Lombari. Told me Yalanko, we know a little bit, we know him in Keba Fatty, Intenga Keba Fatty long through Mola Campbell, of course, Mola can Samba Keba Fatty. So more than Kachala, what Keba Fatty means to UDP at a Mola phone and the influence somebody like that has on him are all issues that we are going to get to. So without doing this much longer than I already have, Mola Mbavuleko Bismillah, this is such an honor to have you because it's not everybody that know me know that we're extremely close and people call us twin brothers. And so I know the effort that it took to have you here today. So it means a lot to me. So any more senor content sabula kachako.
All right. Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, you cool like me alone. Because Mbalanta Cabrain that before Nkoko I've never done this, but Ibrahim is my brother, so don't say no to him. So thank you for having me. Hopefully we'll have an interesting.
Of course, there's a lot of people. I'm pretty sure they're excited about this. Ibama Musubakoto Saho, Ila Musukoto Fatu Ture of Kerfatu. Everybody, not a mass, everybody is excited about this interview because I think for the most part, this is not. It's not something that you ordinarily would do. So I really appreciate it. But Mola, where I would like to begin with is, of course, for people to get to know Nico Mola Kambi, Jumalo Mola Kambiti. Of course, you put a Brikama and Kian Kola for the Mumiti, but Nisi Bosungo for Fatam Fanson no Molye, Nadun Kachakono, and then we can walk through your school career as well from Brikama all the way to Gambia Methodist. Then in Bedunela professional career kono. Please. Mola, come on.
No, I got the sound, so I'm hearing you clearly.
Ndol fon bi ke moy de ila ni jamani internet o kañ malam bari bu ko be jelala mon lalde o man cool baket.
I think I'm with the time.
Ebe echo kanere malam, do you have two gadgets on?
I'm not hearing you.
Yeah, you are echoing. Maybe just get out and get back on again, please. which is crazy. I don't know why. Mola, what you made a sister and while use labang. But yes, thank you all for being here. Mola is going to be right back on, and I apologize for that interruption. But I want to encourage or indulge all of you to subscribe to Dialectic Space Podcast. Isa jalen support me doko minkeka. Of course, we cannot do this without all of you. So your support matters to me a lot. This interview is live on TikTok, it's live on Facebook, and also on YouTube. But it is extremely important for me to have all of you to go to YouTube and let's subscribe on the platform or to Dialectic Space Podcast because that's how we incentivize it. That's how we keep the bills going. But also, we are open to partnerships and sponsorships as well. And if that's something that you're interested in, please feel free to reach out. Sirima,
Malam ko bari ko lebe.
malam fo bari ko leben kele kam man bari ebe ako kam bakele. Headphone no man tere bulo kono.
Yeah, because when you come on,
Yeah, your ila audio is it's a lot happening there. Am I headphone also? Yeah, we're trying to get Mola situated for us to continue. Ala funko be eko kambaba kele ala audio for some reason. Worst case, we'll try to have him switch to another phone, and then we can continue the dialogue. Which is crazy because at the Malaman to Gambia, so Gambia on inclusive alkake, but the fact that he's experiencing this right now is beyond me. But yeah, like I was saying, I encourage all of you to go to YouTube and support the Dialectic Space podcast. I'll send subscribe and also have the notification on. That way, nanga kachalu min soto mi yanon ko nying no, you'll be the first person to know. So I think Mola is gonna come back on, and then we'll see. Cause abe eko kan back, I don't know. Siriman.
I don't know. It's coming from there. Hold on. Come on, man.
Okay, Mola,
I
but
got
eko
it.
killing be caring honey sign. Yeah, honey sign. I'm gonna take you out one more time, nga GB bang. Ni mimbe nyoka ning. If you guys have an extra phone or laptop, maybe you can try that.
Yeah, I want to put on my laptop phone.
Yeah, and don't if you have two gadgets there, it's gonna keep echoing. You only need one gadget. Ni sudiada nyola daron. It will keep happening. Again, mbal be Danila, say mbal yam for Danila. These things happen. Ni mola lebijang, mola kambi sirimang. Biki and so lebijang. So badi won call umba flal mumeko. You guys you sit down and listen to Kian Kolu. Nga alkarani domandinke, so but we'll have Mola back. Okay, yeah. Bakari, you are right. UMC call ben sabotage, ben sabot na pabil zavo nyare ben sabotage kande. Back skande UMC call ben sabotage kan babakele, They don't want us to have this conversation. So we'll see. But we'll remain undeterred and we're committed to seeing us through to have this conversation. So but also let me know if you're hearing any interference from my end. That way, the problem is not coming from my side. Yeah. So Nimola na Tadanon will try to continue. But ang Al Nimbara, Pandi, Inimbara, Bunja Sabali, Al Nimbara, Pasilla, Al Nimbara, Mfon Tero Kendo, Bakari MY Kante. I see you, brother. Thank you for being here. And Abdul Karim. Abdul Karim. Finally we have Mola, man. But I don't know, man. So far it hasn't worked. Okay, don't forget to ask about Yankuba. I guess everybody is here for Yankuba Touré story. So hopefully we have Mola and then we can talk about the Yankuba Touré story eventually. You know? Yeah. Because Mola has a lot to say to that and I probably do too. So hang on 1 second. Mola Manja. Mola Manja boss. What is that? Muna Modi. Let me check on Mola real quick. Okay. Sirima.
E kam moy la silamba.
Anke Mola Kendege.
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear. No problems at all.
Bari mun kolleng. Mbari ngolleng
Okay.
nya bari.
No, eko UMC ko leben sabotage kan.
Ah, kemo boja nala mollende. Andong
Ah, okay.
atlebe la communication pool ni osivaldo. Abe karatel.
Back scan the comment section above. Okay, Mona la mol there. They are working overtime.
Yeah, Bucks knows.
Anyway, let's get to it,
But
Mola.
yeah,
So, let's do the introduction. Also, Ngalong, you told I mean for an phone, but talk to us about yourself to the extent that you're comfortable too. We can begin from there.
well, nte so Mola Modou Lamin Kambi. But Mola I think is a popular name now. I didn't farm fan kavale. Mfama ka fanyele ko Mola. Mbama o kavale Modou Lamin. But Mfama can say it's Mola. So everyone knows me by Mola. Born in Brikama, Nema, raised in Nyambai. I think two of the most vibrant places in Kabilos in Brikama, right?
I'm not sure about that,
So,
but please proceed.
well, yeah, Nema has everything: the hospital, the mini stadium, everything, police station. So that's the heart of Brikama. So yeah, that's it. Raised in Nyambai, currently living in Hamburg, Germany. And yen tumak mo fon tel ya ngamera tel lakian dal. Dim follow Modlamin, dimusu follow Fat. So basically, that's it. Ndeliaoka, and that is where I get the name from. So other than that, no, nothing about Tomako. So I think
Schooling, schooling.
went schooling. I started school in Daus Comprehensive, or let me say St. Joseph's, non nursery, and primary school to Daus Comprehensive. Then grade 7 to grade 12, Gambia Methodist Academy. And then from Gambia Methodist Academy, I went to University of the Gambia. I did my BSc there. From there, then I did my master's at Anhalt University of Applied Sciences in Germany. Yeah, I have an MBA with focus on international trade. So that's it.
So you've always been posh. How is it possible that you went to all these unusual schools from some of us who are from Brikama? We went to like Kabafita, we went to Brikama Methodist Academy, we went to Nuzrat High School. Like you, since in the beginning, you were just going to, you're from Brikama. But one would say that you've always been very privileged.
Well, I think umfama kat law for the nyele ngi samba school kendol to. What time with them ekabo brikama later yesena. So I think it's had not uncle dole biji. Ikafa bakari mane. So well, intending adding on na cousin Ibrahim is a doctor now, Dr. Mane. So now uncle was working at Elf at the time. Elf link Elf. Yeah, well, like a total and then total fina Elf and something, but it was Elf at the time. So I think wale audition make kanning ibi samba school to Ndaus because time I do call Fajara, like head office be Fajara. So we go together from morning, Somanda, then Ularo, Ngatate. Na uncle Ning, Mama Bija, Mama Tomu Kekoroldi, ba Kekoro Mane. So his house in Fajara. So Nkawuli Nimbota Brikama, Ngata Ninjita school and Samba Fajara, and then back. So that is it. Data for grade 6, the decision exam what was it choose schools. I said I'll go to Methodist Academy. Exams came, I passed, and then Methodist. That is it. We started from Bedam thing. So that is how it all started.
But you also like, for a lot of people in the Gambia, when they look at you and they remember you, they also associate you a lot with Brikama. That's also because you've always been somewhat Um, I don't even know whether it's right to say it this way, but you become like a poster boy for Brikama. You identify a lot. Itata dawda mobi kala ko Brikama bejan hani adanta mola kambi damal. What has Brikama meant to you over the years, and how has that society and community shaped you into the man that you would later become?
Yeah, Brikama, I love that town. Brikama. Na friend will be a cafe nyete so kutanya first say Brikama ite lankai, of course. So Brikama, I think growing up, the people Niminal grow up to like that sense of community. I'll be
Mhm.
kilonti beduna sudo kono bedumoro kala jebina ebina. So that is not what shaped Ndella Dindia Wato. So everything we do it together. Ndabe jila school and in nada hanu na boys wale kaba vitamin for nita. But we do everything together in the football cool. So like it was one big family. Ndelia bo ya edun kamara kunda. Kamara kunda edun singate kunda, you know. So I think that is it. Well, connection I mean build and all of I think that was it. Brikama Dal, it made me. So that's why I'm forever grateful for everyone member of Brikama. So yeah. But I can
Talk,
now Brikama Dal, yeah. The best place in Gambia.
talk to us a little bit about your parents, Auntie Ami. She was my primary school teacher in Kabafida, and see a lot of people on went through her hands too. Now the difference in our communities, until our parents, so they never went to school. Until that na pabi mang angale karang kurano ay ole karang. My mom also never. I think she stopped at like grade 4, so they didn't really like get formal or conventional education like that. But that doesn't mean they don't understand the value. And it's different from some of my friends like yourself. Me, alam ko ila ulula li angale karani ya fahamle, and they put a certain level of premium on the importance of education. And I want to talk to you to talk to us a little bit about that. How much of Amila educational and in fanang ala appreciation of education as well, and the value of education. How has that shaped you and your siblings in terms of taking education very seriously? But Amifon generally, if you can talk about her a little bit.
Yeah, Mbama. Nga aminata sawo kambi. Yala ni Mbama bi mkonton kilon de sawo ni kambi. So
Mhm.
I think Amita will start from Mama Ba Khalil. So among karang bari karang ko diata hani ni inabe kachala domande abe angale kuntundingol follow time ngamra ni sort of sunya na feel force I know sifa hani tara abafle God bless you sifa. So he kept that aning at farang ba Khalil ni minili along ko they worked together back then. You know, I think one time he was walking. He was very close. Our two families from our close. It's like the families in Fajara and Jai family and Jai Bipila family. So Bakari Luning were very, very close. And that man, I think, was one time the Speaker of the National Assembly. As far I'm yeah, I mean for because he didn't tell us how control he called Natal Bakatang. So I think that man and who had so much influence on Bakarilu with regards to education. I remember Karanya, but it will up cool. Where I make sure like adding all that fadingol as a be currently. So I think that is what happened with my mom at our so a current college. Teacher New Sifal together with my dad. My dad too was at the Gambia College. So Karankodal, especially my dad, at a book of Yalang Amiyate is not that strict. So at a calm Kobe as a diamo is a coke labetenkunik. But my dad, Karanko, a jatra Kobe.
Mhm.
So Wala until Karanko dal, especially for me, being my mom's first child. My dad doesn't play with that. I can't find Karanko dal. I can't now school. So that is it. So Ami is still teaching, right? Says actually now can head ngai buka karandro because I headmistress lem. Brikama name of school into says the headmistress there. So she's still on it. Aba karandirola and that is it. So basically until Karanko dal, it was more of my dad can. Not dad can was also headmaster. So everything karao mo lamin karao hani Germany mbejang mo lamin school e katale bang e tenne everything so he's always on it he's always on it for karao dal ni lafta bata bon la foire ya bay la kany e be karanda ni karanda fe mo fe lafta la you'll get it so that is where it came from.
Now, I also want you to walk us through ila social and community activism. What that mean, Dole, for you? Because of course, even prior to TRRC, people know ko, like you were involved with individuals like ST, for example, in ST Lateria Meta, Alateria Jamfata, in Doku Jamale Fananke as well, and projects like Give One Project, and also prominent individuals in the country. There's a lot of projects, and so TRRC was not the beginning for you, was part of your journey. But what things become, how did those things become important for Mola Kambi, such that when you see initiatives like that, either ST through a music or a community work, you get involved in those goal support, or either through other community projects? When did that all began for you?
So early on, like in coming for the Brikama, na society how it's built. So Brikama Nyambai follow community. You start at by Badeko Farafaro. Ning was sita. Everyone shows up, right? I'll be announced like Jamon to the Dimas school laba fenko. So those are the things. It helps you build Kabilola Kobe Kering, Jamando Kobe Kering, Aleta Block Kusoni Wasifala. Alngata bade ko farafaro la nyina be kere. We have the Nyambai development community lafta silol dedala la animo sifal, so they get, everyone gets involved, right? So that is where it all started. So that is what Brikama means to you, like wasifal Brikama ke karen wala katandi ko nyimumbe la quality nga wuli ngake. So that is how it started. And ST too, through his music, great guy. And ST is like family. ST is a cousin, you know. Nkana uncle me for the Bakari Mane, me enter doing the school. Is is a cousin to ST's mom, Mbafanda.
Mhm.
So that also, that aspect is there. So talking about Given Project and other things, my involvement has more to do with an individual like Aliu Badara. Many people know him by the name Badara Pullo, right? Great guy.
And then
So
the kafa Putin.
yeah, Putin, but I'm gonna follow. Man, lafi more guy Putin. Yeah, guy Putin. So great guy. So Aliu, he helped a lot in that. Anything he's doing, because Aliu is all about him, his community. For more Kafai, until this day, Aliu Feta Malafi Fenda Bang and all of that. So all about him, community. He's the one, Mola, let's do this. Mola, let's do. Until today, he's into community footballing and also I've been called. Even today, this afternoon, Aliu called me to talk about football. Our community, what he's doing. He has this league. So those things are the things that help me in those aspects. So in community cool nata kan everything, even here in Bedaminjak, in community cool nata, you know, easy on. I became a community organizer. Jam founding
Mhm.
activities. I'll be there calling people. Ang football and nakela or so on. Jana barbecue like be, just to bring people together. So those are the kind of things. So with community activities, nyambai cool, nyambade ko farfarol ningo sifal community things. But outside that, I give credit to Aliu, who helped a lot. And Aliu Fana, just like Aliu is like a brother. So many people passed through my dad. So my dad was teaching in Kafuta and lived in Aliu's Nyalia. So Aliu too lived in our house in Brikama. So that is what brought the connection. So that is where it started from.
Now, before even TRRC, while you were doing a lot of these social justice initiatives and community projects, was there at any point that it dawned on you, actually, Mola Kambi is very prominent, and Moli Lombakele, Mulfane Kalamuta ye appreciate Babakele Fanang, because I remember, obviously when you go to TRRC, that your name become a national name because of the role that you are playing for the Truth Commission, which was a national project. But was there any point that you felt, oh, or even your family are like, Mola, beginning to worry about your popularity? Because I said that specifically referencing myself. When I was growing up in Brikama, in London, I used to play football. So people know me. But when I was going to Nusrat High School as well, I was doing a lot of drama. Kiata role in Kudo. So I was involved in a lot, with peace ambassadors, the Gambia. So, Nimol Konyako, Moli Lombaba, you have not met Molamin Kambi, because if you know Molamin Kambi, Molamin Kambi combating Brikama and Banjul and Mobile at along. But was there at any point you realize, or you ask yourself, what is it specifically, or that this fame that is coming with me, is there anything attached to it? Do you ever ask yourself that?
Yeah, sometimes the phone call for like sometimes more unique being okay mola this, so sometimes the phone mala boran dami. I think but started from, so I have both sides, right? growing up in Brikama, everything. Then I go school Kumoli for Rendaus. I have another community there. So it became 2 blocks, right? That is the advantage I have. Many more sort of Dolby Nitara school, we were in the same class doing everything together. They were within those areas, Banjul, Kanefing, Kanana, down. Right? But me, I was coming back home to Brikama. So I have that Brikama block. I have that other urban area. Ikafo
Mhm.
nyame, namol kafe, kombo tubab Bangkoka area. So I think that has to do a lot with it. So I have this area, this area. So the community activities and everywhere, Brikama, Mobe, everywhere, and Tadadami, Mobe long. And this other area for now, Molka for Dami, Combo, the
Mhm.
same. So I don't know. I think Ndefanko Nyininkala, like where it came from. Because Malong, it's not like anything extraordinary, like a different from what other people are doing. So I don't know what made me stood out
Maybe la
at that point.
Hadamadia. Maybe it's your humanity.
Maybe too. I have a friend. I started by the MLK. I call MLK Modou Lamin Kambi stands for Martin Luther King. So you bring people together and all that. So maybe that's it. So, but in the phone, I cannot pinpoint it to this particular issue, Konyinemu, or
Mhm.
this or that. Yeah.
Another question relative to that is, how did you navigate those relationships, given that it is the case that Ndolbota Dam in Brikama, for example, Brikama is predominantly a majority Mandinka speaking area. Kabinde Tara Nusrat, I remember my friends used to make fun of me because I could not speak Wolof at the time. Nanga suru account for the Ramobe Kefile
Mhm.
Kaka, and you speak Wolof very fluently. At least for as long as I've known you, you always speak Wolof whenever you do. Nintol nga Afrika for nyoko ibeka for tentinke. But it is also the case that because of the regional differences in terms of how communities live, like Komboma fon Surua kan laka for back and Tolbota Diamond Mane kan laka for back. But we are all one people. But really, how did you navigate that regional differences? Like even in Nusrat then, some of us from Brikama can Tolukumandi village didn't know Latino. So you had to almost it almost feels like you have to fight for acceptance and conformity within that geographic area that is different from the familiar area that you are from. I had those experiences, but eventually it made sense to a lot of people. It doesn't matter where you come from. What matters is your humanity and your competence intellectually as a student. But you seem to do that pretty well. And I think a lot of people can also attest to that. How did you navigate that difference between coming from that area, regional area, and then going to school and then having ila base min kada Brikamati, but also fitting very well with people from Komotwa Bangkoka?
Yeah, so it's the same thing, school calling, because imagine time you like start karano to school, I think 3, 4. So since that age, it among fell long, fenjama bondi nyoto. So you started interacting with people. Now that a majority, like you said, until what dami, nkamanika count for back.
Mhm.
Bari nkara school dami nimile class killing. Majority, even if nata manika dinol bije, bari jama bije, like kacha minna. Apart from second dinner at the time, Angle counting was if almamoy, but Alka start counting now. In those areas, always through account. I think that's through account, obviously. So since then, growing up in all the society, killing albita, albe boiler, you made friends and them, everything in that group. So I think over. So that is it's easy. Like I've been in it, covering ikafanya le kuri kuri,
Ah.
covering bedoyaring. So that is it. I think that's why it's not difficult. So Suraka mama back about even though coming to the level maybe mbela fala nyame, but ni namuso communicate no, so that's fine.
I have a comment section older, and so we're giving a shout out for letting Mola be here to have a conversation with us. But so Mola, let's go to 2016 then. We're moving steadily towards obviously to Yankuba Tura story at the TRRC, but Manfudaje, so I'm just indulging all of you to stick around a little bit because that's what they want to hear. But before the elections, you are one of the young people, Milialonko, obviously you were very involved, and even after post the elections too, when the celebrations came, you have photos with you in Gambia has decided shirt, and those things matter to you. You were already involved with UDP, United Democratic Party. Arguably, you are one of the first young people in Gambia publicly that were coming out to advocate for, to make it okay for people to openly align themselves with political parties. Why did that start for you? How did that come about?
So yeah, good question. Until that was our natural habitat. Like nte wulutale dorong o nyafanutale, and you see ko my people are very much involved into politics. My family, everyone, especially in Delbora Kiawes, very smart people. So they were very much involved into politics and wasifal. But before all of that, I talked about my dad and my mom being teachers. So my dad was, I think, even talking before politics in found. What uh, the biggest motivation was like serving. Politics for me is about serving the people, all right?
Mhm.
We are people are in it to serve. Like you need to serve the interest of the people. So growing up, Ntenya Fonuta Minkono, Mfama. Mfama was a teacher. He was a headmaster, Kabinete Pekebakang, headmaster. But at the time, Ntelia, Badami, you know our house, right?
Mhm.
College, Gambia College, and everything. So my dad was a teacher, but our home was also more like Ekafo regional office, like the
Mhm.
regional education office at the time. Ekafale or time Ongama say Ekafa regional directorate. My dad was like he was a headmaster, but he was also like the PEO, like that's the principal education officer at the
Mhm.
time. Everyone ni mo problem also teacher posting schooling yam post limbambulle yam post nyakoy janale yam post janale sonkunda or wherever everyone comes to the home amadou makoy mr kambi makoy ha yalon dimba jang titano. So my dad was there fighting for teachers in the rights and everything. So nde nya fanu tawla kono ndelia, it was all about my dad. It was all about teacher lahajo dorong, teachers. Ndela suo kono ka fale tep. My dad was like a servant of the people. So even I think toward Ndemo Kalamta Kabrika start, but that is how even before Ala teacher, I understand he was even Gambia College Kabrabi, the same thing. He was president of the Gambia College Students Union at some point, Kabrabi Nunje. I think he was discussing one time Kabra at Abuja. I think this guy that is in the Unite or Gambia coalition or coalition 2016, Prof. Yafa came
Ah,
after him or yeah, something like that. So that he was into that thing, being there for people. So that is Ndenya Fanuta Walekon. Until so that is where everything started.
started.
So
Mhm.
talking about my dad, they even went ahead. Like today, you have the Gambia Teachers Union Cooperative Credit Union. My dad was a pioneer together with some of his friends, like including the current defense minister, is my uncle, Babur Juf. So they started it. My dad was the board chairman until the time he left for the UK. And Mr. Juf was the general manager until he became Minister of Trade. So everything, Mr. Kamilun, Mr. Kaminalun, Halim Makoi, family. So he was always there. Kala Hajo Yubla Tilo Mumi Moldro. So that is what we see. But moving on now, going into politics, UDP. Ntata UDP sunko mi fonte naturally namol UDP bold
So
Kem West
habitat.
and all of that.
Mhm.
But in Nyafan
Mhm.
kono, so you get to learn, you hear stories and so on. But ndefon tara for when this time I started understanding things, kebaya nata watu bin. Otumole kala nyil and also my dad tichal kanaje tichal fana yalo ela ko bam sakunda beten man sakunda beten ne ko they were talking about jamme and everything that was happening. So you can see all kone kamoy. But moving now, going towards Tandela Kebaya Wato, from Fong Kafong understand non phone. I was also reading about things.
Mhm.
Kabrintelbe Methodist Academy. In Katra class at the time, we had, I think it was restricted, Freedom newspaper. But still, we were down, there was this app, Opera Mini. When you download it, you can access the page. And so we were always in class reading about things that were happening. You log on, you see where is Chief Ibrahim Mane and stuff like that. It's Nina Bodo
Mhm.
Pamusa Mane. He happens to be the son of Rohilo, you know. So
Mhm.
Kabro Tamo. So we are all ngala fana maybe that afana wuluta that political fin kolokon. So mkarawol the read kang and everything until such a time not a call. But UDP co start a water minna. Coming by UDP, but coming from ala Kebba was when Kebba Fatty to mention I saw in the thing you posted. Baba. Mama like Nkafaila Baba, everyone calls him Baba. You know, Amo molded me along. He loves this electronic gadgets. Mobile or nothing at our time of V3, Keba Fatile will definitely be the first people or among the first people. Miliba Sutla. And qualify mobile or diate, mobile or malfending, call them my colleague. So, nana, so until Beninje. Well, me and Suti and the Babal before the politics thing. So, was that the mobile sort of letting all of that settle at a kind at a manjiki mola. I didn't want them one thing. Mola Kambi Kumana, Mola Mustafa Kamara. Mustafa Kamara, I think you know him.
I know Mustafa,
So
yes.
until yes, so until wale katara baba wale nsuti ndala, but you see nim baba so nintata a grand place also kebal kanaje basan kumfati nyol and so many others, Dr. Balde ndeka residinji as a kid. So you keep hearing about things. He explains their stories and stuff like that. UDP, cool. So many things. Nita, if I'm calling like those freedom newspaper things, in the Kawato force in the 2008 nines, Yarana now moving Ibrahim toward 2008 because of Baba Fan at the same time in the high school. So, it coming for Baba Nyol coming for you come and read similar things on freedom newspaper. Eka nying kebal, eka tandila kabring time 196, being a kelekan, bole kelekan, from Frabi. So, Nita Fonsida, eka nying kebal, Tonyabe Bule. So, that is what when it started. Because until today, kunun like yesterday nga back bows nim fatura ka fa ko ba something like Tura was talking about coming fal buka bata ako bows said something like nibe tonya kantala fe buka bata or something like that. Yeah, I cannot remember tonya fasala buka bata something like that. So that is it, you know, ko this kebal be tonya like that is how it started. So in kablo kebal lesson on noma until today wo tonya kilo on bole kala koto kaje ko Gambia mo lafta min na ngaw soto. So that is what made me follow UDP.
So at the time for nan covering Falun Kata, in 2016, even prior to 2016, ngejele inim funding kelu. A lot of young people around you, including Ndafao and Kemo Bojang himself, Miyanko Biato Faramanset and the political Konababa, is somebody who Miyanko is pretty close to you. And
Yeah.
I bring his name specifically because I want you to talk to us as well in terms of how do you deal with political within young people in the country, such that on one hand you can maintain your relationships, and you put a lot of value in that, because we can have a relationship, we can disagree politically too. But even then, how do you navigate that? People that are on different sides, in a political kacha, but eye to eye in terms of other political leaning solo, but you still love and appreciate and respect them a lot. How did you deal with situations like that, even those days, with say people in the APRC or Molmi they are on the other side? Because until that was APRC, and we always used to sit down and we argue, but I think later he understood as well before he passed away that the APRC government was not it. But today, my mom is NPP, and I always talk to her about, the fact that I don't think NPP is the right government for us. But you at that time, you were more prominent than me in terms of national politics. How did you navigate that?
So nde ngamemir, especially you brought up like Kemo's name. So what I believe is all of us as young people, what I not believed, nte ko we all want a better Gambia. Now the strategies on how to get to that better Gambia probably what are different. That is the only thing. So ikajale okay mbebe kukile kunda. Bari nte lafta ay kenyin sila dol la nyindo ka lafta ay kenyin sila dol. That is the only difference. So al se kachano le kudo le ale disagree ale kamben ladoto. So I don't see that as a problem. So across the political divide, so something more basic, we can nga discourse nga kacha everything. As far as it's about Gambia, we'll disagree. Every day ni mo be kacha ka me alon ko imantra UDP. You mentioned Kemo, particularly Kemo. Everyone knows what Kemo is my friend. When you know, I was even when Kemo was leaving for UMC at the time, I intended ko Kemo bital. Like someone told me, Kemo fana pareta saying kata. I'm like, hey, inyamara, Kemo is not showing me those kind of signs. So until Akira, I believe. So he moved on. He also wants a better Gambia. So he believes it's through other means. In the left Silomina, he believes it's a different means. So Atada, but we talk. Kemo every single day we interact. Maybe not publicly. We have this our small group, me Alonko. We talk. Even when this thing came up about you, I think someone sent it there. Yeah, Bucks is in the group. He was the first person to react. Akoko, please call me when you need help. Don't go embarrass yourself. That was exactly what he said. So we every other day, every other afternoon, even though true, waro dul kumola kandile, nka nyo sabale fo ngalafka kamfanyo bulu, but beyond that, Alkajira, okay, we all want a better Gambia. Let us move
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I remember you post vividly covering Kemo a declaration, okay, that he is leaving. A lot of things actually you didn't bother a lot of people leaving, but you said that one really hurt you, and that one really got to you. Did you have an opportunity to have a conversation with Kemo, and what did you tell him?
Kemo, I didn't no Kemo. I don't think we had a discussion one on one about it. So it was like, yeah, we wish each other, like I wish them good luck and so on. Abanda. Other than that, okay, during that period from Atazala Yalo, what time cool be candidate and Kimonol at the time for a Yalan, Sane, if a confidence woman is sort of come, but at time when you among any, they were not confident enough. So ning kumarin wrong, kuman wrong, they get, agitated or whatsoever. So but say so whatever I kind of they be for and so on. But now that signed has enough confidence, he's DPL, deputy party
So,
leader. So
so
all of
now
that.
he
So
comes
things are
after you
fine.
now. He comes after you and your
Yes,
party
yes,
now.
yes, 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 yes. Yes, he comes over me every day. At least they are getting some confidence. So hopefully, but yeah, like Gambia like Modou la for the Kojuma la for Gambia no kukuro diata. So that's it.
Ebe Kemo Tonyel da, Amanda, and Yana Gabina agenda, he's going to respond to you. But I had a flash share, so he's happy about this interview. I could hand him Mola from a fintech and then the Mola can campaign. That's what he said now.
Yeah, I quite do it.
I will do it in the hack, I will do it. Could do wrong.
But yeah, but Kemonyol are so UDP. Kemonyol from Mumia are good campaign materials for UDP. So we built all of them.
So you,
So
because of Kemo, let me also ask you about Mfon Farmer, Menteng. Uh Men- Mfon Farmer, Menteng, Afanambe United Political Party. And Ngalon ko ini Menteng, I'll meet a monkey beat. And you guys have been through a lot together, but now you are on the different political aisle. And at the end of the day, politics sometimes it gets people into trouble. You can kudo for modo, you can content. It just gets messy. But how do you also manage your relationship with people that you've once had great relationship with? Sam political natanang man. How do you manage that?
mm, with Menteng, to be honest, I'll be honest. Menteng, unlike Kim, Menteng farmer nyomo la bakele. So I think because I think Menteng is very, 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 very super passionate, right? So and everything. Therefore, I'm very passionate about UDP cool. So
Mhm.
certain things we don't agree. So Menteng, yalo. I believe Kuala Warula Kumul mean for a Kandibakele. So I haven't interacted with Menteng for a long time. In all of these everyone I see everyone Mola post WhatsApp and so on, even Talib. I have his number, he has mine, he posts on WhatsApp, I see. Menteng is the only person getting the WhatsApp status mute. So I don't know whatsoever, is it? So I'm like, so Metego guy, I don't know. I'm hopefully later on, after the elections, when we win, maybe he'll congratulate us. So after all, I think we'll take it from there.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the party, United Democratic Party, and then we can shift to your time at the TRRC. Now, it's 30th founding anniversary of UDP, and you've become, um,
UDP.
so, yes, UDP. Inarake Modemi Alonko. You've been in the party for a while. You are a loyal supporter. You're a member of the party. But Mojama Fane Jibela as somebody me Alonko they respect and admire a lot because of you've, I think, contributed a lot to the party and also brought a lot of young people to the party too. I can confidently say that, and I can also add that Italy atinanung, people like me, you found it okay to defend UDP publicly, especially on Twitter. You know, Bakari Kantanyolu, Ntolu, and also I think at this point to also add that it's also through you that I know Dr. Soljai. And then Dr. Soljai also comes here now. We have conversations, and Mola gets upset. We fight about it. So what you see now, UDP Koloni Kamfar Kama, it's not just UDP people that I don't know, like Kamfan Kama. My own brother here, we have very serious arguments about that. But I think at the end of the day, that's the essence of dialogues. You know, we can all disagree to agree, but also is the fact that we are all connecting each other. Mola had Nantini Sonjai and Yolong, and Sonjai has been family since then. But I say all of that to really ask you about how important has it been for you to bring people into UDP? Molmi Alonko, like folks like Itaninte, we can also say Ismail Fadera is one person we are both close to, and we were all like one big family. And Mbeka Diamunyo, when he wanted to join UDP, animal Diamun Mbeka I could do it, and we encourage him. We all support each other, but we also hold each other accountable. I don't think people actually know or understand the nature of the relationship we share. But how
Of
valuable
course.
has that been for you? Diamu funding Kelly, tell them, to put the UDP agenda before them, to bring them into the party as well. It will finance continue a party in the message amplify to a lot more other people.
So yeah, like I said before, I like Kebba Fatty. O
Mhm.
Kebal Nini be Kachala. You realize Kuning Kebal Ekamen for them. And these are people that don't need anything from the state. Right? Basically they get everything. Coming Gambia se sulano minela hajul topoto. They
Mhm.
have all of that. So it's about the future of maybe Dingol, adding people after all. So Nika Kacha, you realize coming for earlier, like this thing Kebal be Tonya Haka.
Mhm.
So because of that, you see how best you can also engage other young people. Try your best to have them on board. Yala, nteni moja ma bale kacha. You talk to them privately. Alnanang, this is Gambia. UDP is Gambia. Since 1996, what has the party been fighting for? Simple. Like it's you go to the UDP page, you'll see it like the mission of the party is like promoting and defending democracy, freedom, human rights, civil liberties of the people, and also try working towards building a prosperous nation. Like yeah, something like that. A prosperous nation, Mialonko, everyone like providing equal opportunities for everyone where everyone can thrive. And
Mhm.
ikalanko ning kebal wale hamudi lafta wale ba kan kabri wato. So that is the same belief I have. That is why Momo Yalan said diamonoi. Ko nga blow no nga blajin silo no nga diamu yal. Just day before yesterday, I sent 5 a.m. in the morning. It will be 3 a.m. in Gambia. I sent who a message. Bur Njai.
Burha, APP Sobea.
Bur who APP
Mhm.
sober.
Mhm.
Somanda juna ba ngai bur ngal no Brahma. Ngai ko Brahma al wakili. That's how
Mhm.
I wrote it. I love writing when they can kai Brahma al wakili. Al nang deng Gambia bun.
Bankodoku. Mhm.
Simple. Ndantaji. I went back to sleep. Because I don't know, Kabrim, but that was what came to my mind. It was always on my. I sent him a message, and then he responded, Kabring
Mhm.
Bulita, I believe, and he sent me, yeah, we talking, and okay, and then I said, okay, good luck. So That's it. So that is Mbo Kukilong Lekang. I'll keep talking to people every day. I keep mentioning UDP. This is what we want. Ekala nying tonya muna molbol no mo tonya kilimo. So I believe ko you should talk to more young people to come on board, and we go for this.
Now, Adam Barola Mansakunda, obviously, Adam Baro formed by the UDP, and Alaman Sukunda have been around for nearly 10 years. And I own
Mhm.
party forming na NPPT and party Dolphin and Lata Kang, including it phone in the Keba Ismaila Sise, the now information minister, now but a Brikama Lefana. And I mentioned
Doctor,
him,
yeah, he's my brother.
Dr. Sis, exactly, he's my big brother too, even though sometimes he gets up mad at me, but I think at this point, everybody just gets upset at Ibrahima. But I say that specifically is, what is your assessment of President Barrow, Anala Mansa Kunda, and what is your view of them so far? You think, I mean, that seems like a rhetorical question because certainly you're still part of UDP, but really, what is your overview assessment of President Barrow and his government?
It's easy every day. Probably someone wants to watch this among Ajibe no ala mobile or battery shot. You know,
Yeah.
no electricity, right? Jewel. Even the phone I can affect it. Because I'm here, my wife is in Gambia. I want to talk to her. What are sometimes I'm malo it. So and a whole lot of things. Every day you hear about crimes in Gambia. Of recent, yeah, Ismail mentioned, so I'll bring that up. We have the security issues. I saw him writing, or he wrote a long article about border issues, security issues, and I saw Alaji Nakeba, my good Keba, Alaji Baro.
Hmm.
He's like a father to me. Responded to him. So, so many things. High level of corruption, and there are so many issues. Like the case when I mentioned corruption, you talk about the case of the audit guy,
Hmm.
Mr. Cisse. What is being rumored or what's being said is he wanted to do some audits or forensic audits on certain public institutions, and the government believes or the president believes that will affect his bid for a third term.
Hmm.
So accountability, there's no sort of that, like security issues, health concerns. There are so many. Like you said, Gambia problem was yada.
Hmm.
Prices, you know, goods every day, more surata minna. Every day I sort of a collary. Like people more sorobulo mang wara.
Hmm.
And prices are going high, and purchasing power is low. So there are so many issues, but like the most recent, wala nangol for the issues of electricity, the issue of security issues, food, and so on. You know, when you talk about electricity, they mention connecting every village. I think one time, Ngaje, someone wrote on Facebook, if I remember well, it was Usman. Usman Sise, Seattle. He's
Hmm.
also a member of Unite.
Ah, okay, ha,
Yeah.
Isma Ngalan, ha.
Yes. He mentioned something like that coming, you build Ibafala, we connecting them to the grid. Yeah, cable Humudaya Saba for the farthest place in the Gambia. Kurang buka soto. Baro nga dole ja video ka we have enough, but yeah, the problem now it has now is synchronization and stuff like that. So, but still, we those are the issues that are affecting the country, and I don't think any country can thrive if basic things like geo, kurang, obuka soto no. That people, no one is held accountable for anything, from the president down. So that is why we need to get rid of them. It's 10 years already.
Yeah. Now, UDP, 30 years on, um, lost the elections 2021 with charges against electoral malpractice, even though Supreme Court Manna case, they didn't give us the opportunity to hear the merit of UDP's case. But also between then and now, President Barry Party formed. He's the president of the country. He came from UDP, United Political Party. they're also a fraction, or some will even say they're an extension of UDP. They're not an extension of UDP. I think that's incorrect. But members of UDP left UDP and formed United Political Party, including Ibrahim Adiba, Talib Bensouda, Menten Sanya, and Nkemo. And also, I think UDP found. So what I'm basically saying is the three contenders for the December elections are all UDP, essentially, or at least had some association. Two of them had some association with the UDP. Now, I want to ask you, in terms of what is happening, B, with all the coalition, Gambia First Coalition, and also Coalition 2026, and the members that are on either side as well. Itala assessment money, do you still think that UDP has an opportunity, given that they have important political players, that bolster the numbers that they are likely going to get, and also the fact that United Political Party is a separation from UDP, and given that they in fact might, it will maybe in model but UDP has additions as well, and United Coalition, or they don't have political parties like that as UDP does, and it's also a new party that's not tested as well. So we have to also make that point. But what do you see that gives you confidence, and also given what many people consider UDP la base, that you feel strongly that this is an opportune moment that Gambians are going to opt in for UDP against all the other options that are available?
UDP, yeah, like you mentioned, Unite and NPP. UDP as a party, quickly after the 2021 elections, more
Mhm.
particular data, some took a back seat because y'all knew y'all. There were times me along, I was crying because if I might mention, Menteng, I'd like
Mhm.
Uncle Mola, yeah, Ngakumbo. But yeah, the jokes aside, joke. And look at what happened.
Yeah.
After that, yeah, I was made MP, right?
Mhm.
He became MP until today through the UDP ticket. We have like a mayor in Banjul. We have a mayor in KMC.
Mhm.
Talib became mayor thanks to UDP. We have Landing Bisane in uh,
Elara.
in Mansakonko.
Mhm.
He is my chairman. I voted for him because Ndeka vote Kian. And we have Yanks Dab. So I think UDP, I think if we are to go by what's happening and the standards of even those money councils, right? Even until uh, today, Facebook ngajale, they were making posts about, I think Kemo, about how it'll administration changed KMC and so on. So I think that's why I said Kemo Mumia campaign materials for UDP. So those things, if we are going, and that is what they're using to say, let's give a chance to Talib. We say UDP has it and can do it. UDP made that. It's through UDP all that happened because United came just a few months or so, 3 months back, right? Anti Rohi in Banjul doing tremendous job. Youngs too, and landing. And right now, UDP, one thing on paper, you can have all these parties can have nice manifesto. Anyone, you can get someone paid to do it. UDP has a 5 point agenda. Someone can say, no, Mansong, the 5 point agenda talks about youth empowerment, agriculture, education, public health, security, energy, and digital infrastructure. Everyone can come up with that, right? But what UDP has, the human resource base of UDP is no match to any of this. UDP, Londo, everyone, people with integrity, people that have been tried and tested, right? That they can do it. So many people. You can name names if you want, which I believe. And people are seeing them and people are understanding. Situation of Fanagara Nyami, you talk to some people. I talked to someone some few days back, brilliant guy. We spoke, he called me and he told me, yeah, follow on the tenne, but Islande. I think UDP Kunin Dal Mbo Jibelal. And there are so many, 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 many people like that. Me
Mhm.
alonko, they're out there. So like the Franco atodum fang. Ngo for dole ngai ko do you this 17% from the Gambia participate undecided thing. Ngai 10% or more we be cut FL UDP de. So I believe ko right now and with the emergence of Unite, Doba Foka last time, like it's like maybe even for the UDP more totally some prominent people they come in there coming online quite title. Even though the number might sound so big, but I'm sure it was Nina
Mhm.
the time of how United was doing it like be Ibrahim Botajele. Sama Kemo Botajele, Sinindo Botaje. So it's not as big as people think. At least Adora Nyaunya. 97, 98% of that base, it's there. And what happened? Olung Brikama Kabrimba Jibeka. No for dole, and Capian the Jackal, Bowser and crowd come. I'm seeing young people, Milialonko, are new voters. Milialan, they don't have votes. They didn't vote in 2021 and 2026, they'll vote. So, and they'll vote for UDP. That crowd from the lower Mafon, Lamin BJ, Jama Bramu didn't know that. So that was my assessment. In the crowd in Jibeka, I was not looking at the people Ndalta Milil Jela or the people Miliala Ibaflo naturally will go. I was looking at the young people in that crowd who, if I'm Nila Sanjo, sang Asira Katefa song and so many of them and there are so many people like that and Ndebe Diam can do it, Dobe Diam can do it, Ismaila Fadera Diam can, Dobe Diam can, and so many people. So I believe the way the situation is going and like the emergence of Unite will take more from NPP and its affiliate parties like Hamad Baye min fonung ila sukura meeting oto than editing. So I think it's an opportunity for UDP. In fact, it's a blessing in disguise. So inshallah, come December 5th, 6th, niamo wiwu dorong nga ñoo sabam pipeline ni be siatu li nim borbay nat.
La fe nyinin kala also nga moje le miyalan ko ina alla alla teria framansada ina temo fanan diata babake Lamin Sane, former OIC chairperson. And in fact, when I started this, he was one of the first prominent people me and Konga interview. But itele Marco Ewala. And we had a conversation. I messaged him a few days ago, Nka Faiko, left the car interview, Kotenke, and we're actually chatting. So Lafe Ninkala, Lamin Sifalu, and that UDP has tons of other people like that. Milia Lonko, they're not so openly out there, but they have a wealth of experience in terms of administration in various areas and subjects. He took a liking to you. I'm sure he still does. In other Leonsi Benyadile
Of
and
course.
Monyadile Fanamadi because Mojamaka for Lefananko, he started as a great replacement for His Excellency Usainu Dabo should Usainu Dabo for some reason I'm a win. Again, I pray Alamai win. I've said this yesterday, but if for some reason Usainu Manta, the likes of Yankuba and then Lamin Sane and a host of other people, UDP and Minnesota, but Lamin specifically because of I experienced Minnesota another qualificational, not just your ordinary day-to-day politician. This is a serious person with a wealth of knowledge and experience in our area. What is your relationship with him like, and how important has he been to you and your growth?
Lavin, Mr. Sade. So, I don't talk much about our relationship, but it's one of the best things to ever happen to me, Mr. Sane. And I thank UDP for that. I met Lamin in, I think, September, October. No, before October, obviously, because October and 19 days to in UDP in 2021. So it was before that. And I got introduced to Lamin by a good brother. Often I'm Lamin lit. I don't Lamin to the Namoli. So Lamin Koli. Kianko Fanam from Dumbuto. He lives in Kanifing Estate. But Jamaya Long ML Koli. So he's also UDP. So Lamin, yeah, ML Koli introduced me to Lamin, and that is how everything started. So we talk everything, Tata Campagnola. I know, obviously, for whatsoever reason, he likes me. So Tata Campagnola, no, 19 days tour, we went around the nation everywhere. Then after election campaign nata, we went for that too. So that is how everything started. We built the relationship, the family, and the Sukai been to JK. Fatmata. It was like as I'm like a son to Lamin. Nyaja bi mbijambi in Germany, thanks to him. So what happened was after the elections, everything happened. Nyol Kuyata, Kumbol Keta, and everything. So one fine day, we were sat in Fajara at his house. What time I was staying in Fajara. So we were doing some assessments personally and also about the party and other stuff. Mesiri Rek, he said, Mola, Ako Erefon, what do you do next? Okay, I don't know how to, because time I was that period I was not working, yeah. Because of that period, so I didn't pick a job because I was concentrating on the elections and stuff like that. I couldn't go what well, I don't know. I think there's a project in Central Africa. Central Africa I think Central Africa you go there, make few dollars and then yeah, you take care of yourself until later. Because Mr. Sane, he has so many things everywhere. So he mentioned Central Africa for me to go to Central Africa. But also, how about first you go for studies? Okay, well, let's see. I think let's choose the study option first. Because ni mantra jambi, nte mantra jambi to support you in certain ways. Maybe, you can support yourself with you have a bachelor's degree, but masters. Then we started searching for schools. We even checked. The first option was even for Ghana, and then Germany came up because of the educational system. Germany was trying to attract people. So that is how it came about. So with Germany, if you want to come near schools and everything, you there's this thing they have called a blocked account. You deposit certain amount of money to get the money blocked to, like to sustain you, living expenses and so on.
Yeah.
I told Mr. Sane it was at the time 11,904 euros, right? He said, okay, no problem. We checked the school. Nara, the first deposit, when I opened the black account, he sent the first, because you can do 3 installments. He deposited the money. When he deposited no, I halfly deposit. So he was going next week, I'll deposit the other one to make it full. So during that period, because Lamin Nabigam is always in Kiang, at Haramansa Konko, and Mama do Bentaji. Mama Konotolan, Ikafa Batava, he lives in the States too. So can you imagine mama or Lamin Leninka Elabodo Mola Nyadile? I hope he's doing good. So Lamin Ka yeah, he's doing good of but we start he Anjanatala school and so on. So Badafa, I think a day before he went back to the States, another Brikama and Mbama Vesiloka, Marikaram into the Yankuman. We are going and then until at this place Namara Yundum Lender, Akonya Mola, Nkai Nam, Akonya Lamin Nabentale, Lamin Quebe school Kunko. Yeah, that's true. Akonye Albert State Jumala Ngafa, Akonye, well, yeah, Akonye Lamin wants to support you, but in the Fanang, I think I also have some little coins me along. I can help you through ila deposit. Okay, well, okay, no problem. Okay, I'm for the laminate. I didn't tell him yes, deposit. I said for the laminate. Lamin call. Okay, call Batafa said you guys met and you mentioned this. Akonye, yeah, of course, yeah, we met in Mansa Conco, landing the office, and I mentioned this to him. Okay, cool. So yeah, according in the left Markwell, Modo left Markwell prove mbe demo kilo. Why not let him deposit? He deposited, I blocked account, I got the visa. The tuition fees of the 3 semesters, he paid all. Eh,
Wow. Wow.
And when I was coming, yeah, three semesters at La Bejo, and when I was wanted to go to Gambia back last year, come ticket osana, I no, do not buy your ticket, I'll buy your ticket for you. These are things we know, not Timo, right? No one knows. So I couldn't ticket osana. The daughter Bintu is studying in UK. So okay, obviously me and Nkoiko is like a son. Lamin said, Nim Bintu la tiketo. Akonye number nim Bintu la tiketo. There's this guy, finance guy, who is in charge of the finances. Samba ba. So akonye Samba will nga Samba ko. Nga boss ko fenko teninte. Akonye yeah. Nim Bintu la tiketo ngi base and the same promptly from because Lamin kai tell us saying date lele. We bought it, at a very high price from Kabrin I went back home. So that is it. He's been treating me like family. Even Kabrenka Futu. Iko sila nyatonko. Nde mfama e mobon le lamine mobon. Katan muso nyini. So that's how our relationship is. Until today. we kunun ne labanta diamal yeah kunu bi nama nyo call de bari kunun yeah kunun ne labanta diamala. So that's it. Everything battle. Studies banta. Mola come home. You come. You have to don't stay in Germany. You have to come back home. Until today, anu lamina en kola campus in. Aka fanya mola. Ah boy solve ni nga kate muntu mala bina. That is mola come home. So nka mesiloga. And hopefully soon. So that is the kind of relationship we have. So I'm very grateful to him. And talking about UDP, Ilamin Sifara Sote be sharing. Like wala nang ko londi to me UDP. That is our power. That is what we can boast of Komol be sharing. You know, you talk to people, you do them behind the scenes, yalo email. You don't see them in UDP things, but you know you talk to them in Kebal. There's this guy, Ntele in Lamin introduced actually. Now Uncle Lemot. He's from Brikama. So ngaring, you know, you could very intelligent because when you talk to a man, nga realize kuning, yeah, na kuwe nyimpa. I introduced him to Lamin. Lamin, I think they went out because I'm not in Gambia, but Lamin said they went out for coffee one time. And Lamin la mero bantawato bin Sara akonya tata. So they build that relationship through me. And there are so many people like that, and people can engage, you know. If it's sharing UDP, you don't see them out there. But you can on the UDP Kwebolto when ideas are like they bring up ideas and that is it.
Now, and of course, Ngalam Fananko, the Kaka, he does a lot of material support to UDP as well because, obviously, Alatenton Tolbele Kodwa to be in a position where we have a lot of resources and we can chip in where Badingolu, Walla Patilu, or other people that need support. But I also heard that he does a lot of contribution to UDP in terms of not only intellectual qualification, but also resource wise too.
Financially.
Yeah, financially, yes. I'm trying to be modest. But moving on, Mola, another person, me Alonko, over the years, and this is perhaps the last subject I'll keep you to, is APP Sobe Alan Yadonko, SFL, former lead counsel of TRRC, and Ngajele Fanang, another UDP at 30th founding anniversary. And so I want to ask you: are you also involved in some conversation towards because you have for a buru, Italy buru for that you're already trying to talk to buru, but Esa is your guy. At least he used to be. In that team with the other
He's still my guy.
Yes. So what underneath conversations to the extent that you're comfortable to share. Can you tell us about that to have Esa on board?
No, no, Esa, I leave that to Lamin. So, and Lamin Sane, Mr. Sane, they take care of that. And I take care of Burnyol, you know. So that's it. But Esa he's still my guy. We have great relationship. And I try to be honest with people. When Esa mentioned the politics and all of thing, I told Esa what I wanted to tell him. And I'm young and all of that, but I understand the political terrain. So and also in time UEP, and he accepted that. I can remember he Brikama his intention and so on. I'm UDP. So and so on. And then before from TRRC Wato and so on, not the but we talking about Gambia ko, he think UDP, yalang karanyo think Fonka kasele nyoka. Then tenten, so
I
that
think
is
iko
it.
demanding iko
So
demanding wal fanyala no.
huh?
Iko demanding wal fanyala no.
Yeah, so but beyond that, as we talk, and in junk, so like I coming for I'll be left like Gambian kilon. People see me, they think ning SA politic. They think SA krip krap wow korobi wow koro kening. What I do, I'll pick my phone and call SA Kimona yola more support de. And SA talks to the person. He can confirm that multiple times. I've done that here. Now and particularly. And personally, we have a good relationship because recently I'm on me back. I'm me baba back 2 months back. I have a friend, me along Nakoto Keleng, he's not feeling well much, so he needed some money. And Esa knows him. I reached out to Esa and Kainko. He's not feeling well. He needs money for this treatment, blah blah blah. Esa ko fan la nek an kay Senegal ko mun na ma jox wave number. Tap he sent the person money. For me, almost some 2 months back or so.
He's a
And I
very
was the one that
generous
called.
man. I
Yeah,
can
if
also
I
attest to
had
that. Mhm.
well, I'm confirming Kobe are good.
Yeah.
So if that wasn't it, we don't have what that relationship. They don't telephone si kara nga fa esa.
Mhm.
Wa suma waji ki dafa defen ni rek blah blah. And He said, okay, no problem. I am call, I wave receipt in Kenya, and that is it.
Yeah.
So we have,
Yeah.
but I hope, I am very, very 90% optimistic.
That he's
Ko
coming.
abakafulangan. Yes.
I think that's gonna be huge if coalition Gambia First Coalition have ESA.
Askena be lorin korra bundara don molenya na bunda wele kanate mila do.
Ha. Yeah, I think that's it. I think a lot of people say, oh, Kebba Fatty is an X factor or somebody. I think if ESA joins UDP, in my considered opinion, I think it's going to be significant. It's going to add a lot to that bit. It may change a lot. It may,
Yes.
yeah.
Abraham, can you give me a second? Ngana charge ta jan na mobile we mara
Yes,
kapat.
yes,
Yala nere
yes.
buka
Go ahead.
charge shot.
Yes,
Okay.
go ahead. Well, yes, thank you all for being here. Mola Kamila Bidang. There's a lot of people watching on YouTube and also on Facebook. I encourage all of you, I'll subscribe to Dialectic Space Podcast and support the work we're doing. And now Mola and I are going to get into our experience at the TRRC as well. Of course, it's been absolutely wonderful talking to him about who he is and a lot about his journey and story as well. But ngaso alam mo alok
Sonkondin.
work. Sirimang. Kaya Kambi Sirimang.
I'm back. Yeah. So you
Come
were
on.
saying? Okay,
So I
Mole,
was
yeah.
saying, yes, so now I want to shift you to TRRC, Truth Reconciliation and Reparations Commission. They need a bit of KJ. And I think I can safely say that that's why even we bonded a lot because menyo kan lungolung kata do ko at the same time kanyo nkabula modo kino
Motor
wala kono
killing.
ninna drive wo buma
Boo. You see, we said it together, you know?
bumu.
Allah.
You know, but I think Ansumana, have a comment section or the Ansumana made their name. And I thought for me, and I always talk about this too, the best thing that has ever happened to me, together with a lot of other things, is that experience to work at the TRRC. And I credit Baba Galejalo a lot for that. To look at Tolumia and we're all young people. Some of us haven't even graduated at the university. I opportunity Dimbela Purunga Dogo TRRC. Now, it's another opportunity, sort of. I think Yembe hired the same day, or I think a little later, but around the same period.
Yeah, almost the same. I think
Yeah,
my employment letter, I think, was around, I think, September 15, 2018, something like
yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah. So MB, you little higher than another different higher, but we all got there and we met some brilliant people. Baba Galejalo gave us an opportunity for us to work there. You became executive assistant and also by extension in Modi in the hall, and your name become a national name beyond just Brikama and Kombo. Gambia being at long. But people don't know like your story. I hope they can watch this interview to understand who Mola Kambi is. But also, Ntoldol Mialanko, we were at the research and investigations. Alaji is one person close to you, close to me too. He has had incredible impact on all of us because he also looked at
Mhm.
us and trained us very early on in our career in that specific line of work that we're doing. Wonderful human being. Horija Balagay is another individual. I can go on and on about Ngamol Minso
By the way,
Nimile
Horeja,
Doko.
when you say Horeja, you do say Horeja with the double H. She said it's Horeja at the beginning and at the end.
She was everybody's
She
favorite at
emphasizes
it.
that.
She was the favorite
Yes.
of everybody at the TRRC because of just how great she was. But talk to me a little bit about how was that experience like for you? Being involved in TRRC and in Baba Galedo Koke Alaji Baro commissioner. You are one person told all the backroom staff ning commissioner because do koke back. But I tell them commissioner Kataranyo can story do little go form from Toleko about the commissioners as well. Until we investigate and we have conversations with people that are gonna give the testimonies. But you get to talk to the commissioners and you also are on TV almost every day. And I also think that
Mhm.
you were present for every single testimony of the TRRC. I,
Yeah.
and that's record breaking, and so all of that I think adds up to what you perhaps say is a wonderful experience. But how was that experience like for you, TRC?
Yeah. Like as I believe as every young person, every young Gambian, you want to serve your country in one way or the other. So
Mhm.
the TRRC experience has been so far. one of the, if not the most fulfilling for me, serving my country and in that capacity, right? That was just great. And you mentioned Baba Galle. I am very much grateful to two people for giving me that opportunity. Baba Galle, Jalo, and my lovely mother, Musubakoto Sao. One of the best. She's also one of the best things to happen to me, right?
Yes, she's amazing.
So I'm very, very grateful to Baba and Musu. But that experience was like you said, it was just amazing. You get to interact with all kinds of people. I've made relationships at the TRRC Mialonko. Kebuka no nta for no fang adamo badam. You mentioned Alaji, you know, great person. A few days back, like in call, he checks on me all the time. Like he said, he's not very social, coming across social events too, but Alaji made sure na futushito. He was there. That is how much, and he'll call me, Mola, how are you doing? Mbita musube nyadile. Last week, yeah, he called to check. So many people made great friends. You know, it also exposes you to how much, because it was like, I think 90% or more young people. J.
Yes.
Kebaman Siaji, apart from the commissioners and few, Baba Gale, Anti Senabu, Mr. Au, the CFO, I think those are the ones I can remember. And the Anti Yadi Kon, and then oh, the other lady, Ansumana la boss. So those were the only people I think I can remember me Ali Mukeval DJ. But the rest were young people. They gave opportunity to all of us. And one thing, Minnata, it opened my eyes to so many things. That research and investigation department, those police officers. You know, you see police officers, you will think, come in normal, like a police, you think they are not sophisticated. But one of the brightest people in the Gambia, or amongst the brightest, are police officers. Great people. Like you meet Ken Senghor, Jali, great
Abdul
investigator,
Emmanuel.
RJ. What I brag about that. Nka dole ko RJ, you know, RJ Thomas is and like Nyarilem, forensics expert.
Yep.
I think one Gambia has one or two, and Thomas is one. He's with us at the TRRC, Abdul Mane, Sirif
Lord Denny.
Baro. So many of them. Sirif, you know, great people. Yeah, and those they were all police officers. These people are super intelligent.
Smart. Yeah.
You know, you could tell the Gambia has a great human resource. So it and also teach me something about TRRC. Like one thing.
Kana la interpretal for that.
Yeah, anti Ida. Yalo anti Ida ning Alaj Musa. And that Jahannama glass. Yella broad. I don't, you know, Ibrahim Silla. And you know, for some reason people are thinking I was the one doing interpretation at the TRRC. And I've never done that. But TRRC, that is what it did. It gave I currently kujama bal. You know, people come to the TRRC, mulkata online, they are mad at them. Ibafala oya thing, ibafala nying, you know. But for someone like me that interacts with them closely, you know, I try to put all of those emotions aside, right? And at the time, through you can as like you know you have that UDP thing still, but I think I've never tried to put that out. And one thing, there was this guy who there's this guy I remember Namafon, like he works with Dr. Tamsir Mo. His name is Salif Ogano. He came to me one day na suoko na akonyo ko Dr. Lenkika. Olen Tamsir Mo. You were like Konya, you are very respectful to him. He has utmost regard for you, blah blah blah. I never knew that will happen. But it like that was what the TRRC did. It even changed me a bit, like how you comport yourself, like Wol Mumi and all those scenarios. You get to learn a lot. Tata, you know, like you said with the the commissioners, there was this day, you know, the chairman, he's always in his little corner. Ngata ngala bunama. Kong kong. Yeah. Nako yeah, you know. Yeah. Guy ako so nga bundal. Oh, Mola ngasi ngakacha. And you know, you think he doesn't talk, but he, you know, you go ngala bunda kong kong ngata. Then ngasi for some minutes ngakacha, and he mentioned something to me. Akonyo Mola. nte kuo ku nga soto ni dunia kono. And everything that I have today, Dr. Lamin Sise, they say Dr. Lamin Sise, education gave it to me. Akonye ko na dinindol fam bi America ka borinal no ha Uncle Lamin kata karan ko mo fala and so on. Akonye, if you want to go far in this world, make sure you go to school. Akonye nte karan wole and that until today. Akonye, a small boy, a small boy from Nyani Dobo to the the topmost positions at the United Nations. Akonye, only education gave it to me, nothing apart from education. So make sure you karam. You make sure you learn. That is what he told me. You know, great people, amazing. No, the TRRC was something else for me. I learned a lot, built amazing relationships until today. You know, it get being the Sulata Fenna Gambia. I can just pick a phone, nga police, nga can call, Jali Senghor, and Sulata Fenna somewhere else. You know, Mr. Au, I call him. Mr. Au is now like more like the MD of Basic Bank now, you know. I'll send him a message, he picks up. And so many things. So I currently kujama bala ni multi mo be bala nyami ni hadama ya phone. And also emotions like TRRC it was great for all of us. We learned so much. But what it did for me too, it came in for I like the network it gave me. It gave me so much network. Even outside the TRRC, people see you, okay, TRRC, you know, Alekacha, that respect out there, you know, it's you interact with these witnesses too at some point. Because I remember I went with the investigators to, I think, correct or take in a statement. Oh yeah, at the Fajara barracks. You know, another thing under the mango, there's a mango tree la sell all to J. You know, we were there. You know, that was before his testimony. You look at him, you know, you can understand, you know, the human being, everything, all that might. So I can currently look at Oya now. And I think at the time, the family was also staying at Fajara Barracks. So look at him. This guy once came to the TRRC, Malik Jata. He said something, akona kata akatat tujereng football. Bari, coming badala. But he doesn't want to play contact sport. Ako he wants to be playing volleyball and he was CFL because he had yalang coming contact sport. It's a more baramano from football and then people will be like yajele. So I was like, you know, it teaches you so many things about coming harabani elabandla is zero. So humility and so many things.
And I also think, to add on to what you said, one thing TRRC to me that they did such a good job, and I credit a lot of this to SR and then Alaji in terms of how they set out what they want to start with, what they want to go into the middle with, and what they want to finish with. And for a lot of young people like Ntenite, who are between 1993, 1994, 1992, Ntolu Dindingolu, a lot of us didn't understand a lot of what was going on. Kajele, we read some of it, but to come into contact with that in a very grim way by listening to people by investigating that, it put a lot into perspective about Ntolu, what kind of people we are. And for me, that's why it's not even about the fact that I had a job at the TRRC. It's the knowledge that I was able to acquire by virtue of sitting down and interviewing these people, and they were capable of doing this extraordinary evil. And I remember a book that Alaji also gave me to read during my days at the TRRC called Human Beings and Extraordinary Evil. It's a book about how Nazi Germany, Hitler, killed all these people in program, and how human beings just generally in Tolu kanyim mantura balki no nyokang just almost it puts a lot in perspective. If you think about Mbek Palestine and Israel team science and thing, you know, or just the Rohingyas, for example. But really, I think for me, that's the single most important thing to understand Tolu Gamenolu and being see that Gamenolu Safoyoko, no Gamenolu Tolu, we are not capable of this,
Thank
or they
you.
make this, yeah, exactly, they make the suggestion that Tolu, we are just immune, we're different. Said no, Mimbe Keta during 1994 to now, Gamenolu Lamwiti, like these are our own
A
people,
bit too.
you know. So I feel like TRRC in that sense, it just makes you grow, even when you're not prepared to,
Yeah.
because now you come to terms with this reality that damn, Gamenul Damale Nyinkenyo. And I think also Alajila Buko that he wrote, he talked a lot about this, how all of us contributed into what this maniac, former President Jammeh, and his people did to Gambians.
I think I have that book form with me here. Right now,
Yeah.
here we are, you know. I have the book with
Yeah.
me. So, but yeah, it tells you a lot. Like for time of you were reading Freedom newspaper and the things you see or read
Mhm.
on Freedom, you can't like, okay, ah, okay, you want to believe some, you believe
Mhm.
many, then you come now directly into contact with that.
Yeah.
Like 8 years ago, 8 years before 2018, you were not even imagining things like that. You can
Mhm.
come into contact with that. So, even if I agree with you. So, ya jibe will be at a gammeno lenyinke, Niko ko ha gammeno lenyinke, gammeno lenyinke, bukalano, ibafala ha kasamasu, or lanyi muli, botanenjane, mulejo. But you, now you know, marry aliasi. You have close contact. If I am dala konte lenyinke, and the lenyinke. Like
Yeah.
you said, you can't feel like, Gambians are capable indeed. So I
Yeah.
agree with you. So it changes a lot about
And
your
what
perspective.
I think few things now that, because you and I, we all work at TRRC, and there's a lot of, I think, emotions, but also experiences that are coming out. And I remember vividly how Koros Sise, the late finance minister of the APRC, how he was killed. And I think for me, that was one of the hardest, listening to some of our people explain well, they were involved in that, to talk to us about how Koros Sise was actually killed. And it also wants, I mean, to that end, like, makes me want to ask you about Ella experience with Yankuba Ture, which a lot of people make fun about, but I don't think it was that funny, because and I hope that Yankuba is doing well, and I say this respectfully because I know he's in jail as well, following the drama that unfolded at the TRRC. But every day, honestly, at least for the little time period that I was there, it was tough. Some days you come to work, and the reality of all of us is we're getting support. They were asking us to
Mhm.
seek for psychosocial support when we needed it, because some of the stories that we were hearing, some of those did not even make it to the testimony publicly. So, how was that experience for, like, specifically the Korosise and Yankuba Ture as well? And when you know for sure these are Nimole Nyinke, and they come now, you have to be in this position where you look into them in their eyes. You have to swear them in, and they're telling you, "Oh, I'm going to swear to God that I'm going to speak the truth, the whole truth, but nothing but the truth.
I'm not
So
about the
help me
truth.
God." One so powerful individuals become just this normal human being right before your eyes. But how was
Hmm.
that?
So yeah, like you mentioned, emotional, roller coaster coming sort. Until TRRC band, ndabuga like you have a screen, it was affecting me. Ndenen dunta swokon or anywhere because people watch what time dul kaji we ularo. I go home, ngandun hambama salokon. Yaje QTV. You see TRRC, pop, I go, ngadunna bunkon, I get into my room. I can't watch it until today because emotionally, I'm like, I go through all of this. You
Mhm.
don't know how, like, you don't show it most times. Y'all in Gambia, especially men, how we are in Gambia. And normally, nyani allow fan kamul. I think we need to teach more young people that. Come in, emotion sifal, ni kumbo kan, and what sifal you do it. So it was affecting the phone so much, sitting through all those testimonies.
Mhm.
I sat through every testimony, even the testimonies that were done behind closed doors. I was there listening to some stories, because colonial and everything, so much emotions. Koro from technically is family because Alma Nemanin Kafrakala Basora man, my great uncle, Captain Kambi,
Mhm.
retired captain,
May so rest in
was
peace.
married was married to Koro's sister, Yabaja.
Mhm.
They have two kids. One is Koro and one is Saibo. So I'm in contact with Saibo always. So almost Koro bari ni already. Almost tell uncle leti because mama so it's like that. But all of that ming ye ngera ikapanya le. Ma back at TRRC. So many testimonies. Even Basora Captain Kambi when he was there, you know, I think war is by in because of blood. Because so many stories from Kamoy, Liberia, like, cool. That yeah, we were joking about it. Even he before he came at home. So more think, but the TRRC until today, I can remember something that touched me before I come to the Yankuba thing. It was the testimony of this lady. I don't know the name, but I think the husband was November 11 victim, 1994. I think it's Basiru Baro or something.
Basiru Baro.
The woman was explaining someone, if I remember vividly, someone informed her Basiru was somewhere in Casamas or something like that. If I remember, that was how the testimony went like atatali. So amantara je a kanata labes Casamas and musufula babulu. So one of them nga muskeba nying ofo manyo had to go to search for Basiru somewhere and went and came back without Basiru. Whilst Basiru was killed in Yundum and buried somewhere behind Delia Dalaji or yeah, because it was Nyambai flood or area
Yes.
found it. So and came that testimony, I don't know, like broke me down. I think that was the first time I remember from sitting in the hall and I was crying. Yeah, because she went with so much hope. She'll see the husband, bring the husband home, or at least ayaje, and that was it. Allow Jenny Mumi get a tough nafulet. So on like that testimony or that testimony, killed me.
It broke
Malum
you. Yeah.
munen dal, but and coming it had in jiko be siri nin jiki bakata coming yaje la jiko tinyata and so on. So it was just very emotional. Until today, Nama and Kama, I'm like, how is that lady doing?
Yeah.
But going to Yankuba's case, Yankuba, like I was, some of us were kind of prepared. As a smart guy, before the testimony, we were gathered in the exhibition room. Until those of us that should be there, I think the camera team and also Nte and then the legal team. As I said, his suspects Ko Yankuba will refuse to testify or I will ban like a Kaledal. As I mentioned something like that. I'm like, yeah, Akongata. And the way as I explained it, I scenario mean put, that's the same way it happened. That is why usually the monitoring cameraman doing would la. Sunday I was a bit ko obekelale. So ntata and natakan to wato wati. Ko mang
Abejan,
hani and
abe
so
comment
on.
section note.
But I had some, maybe the cameras didn't show but I had two people with guns, escorting me. So I don't think there was anything messy even though as Kenon Kijoyam for the domain because I was keeping my distance and so on. But that was something me Alanko I was expecting it. But beyond Kabrijan Kubanar, he said Anatale, he wanted to speak Eko Akono. No, Ikono for as a Kali. So Okalo, he went, I Michael Malaka with Diamla Dron, Namaiko fa. So that is what when he went off the set and went to them. Dole Ofanyako had laying Yankuba. No, but this is the rule. Before you address the commission, you need to agree code the oath must be administered. So that was it. The whole thing chaotic. Definitely understand at the time. Until I saw him call those big boys because my bad allergy, everyone was showing up there. What happened? Nimube. And they were saying, okay, Yankuba was Minister of Tourism at some point. And I don't know whatsoever thing. So and that was it. I felt it for him, and everything. Yeah, everyone, Mubi. Like you could tell, people were angry. People want the truth. People were searching for the truth. They want, Yanana, you tell us what happened. But unfortunately for him, it didn't happen that way, and the law took its course. But I was, to be honest, I was expecting that reaction because we were briefed already. Even though
But
coming
why
as
you
a
not? uncomfortable with the back and forth. Mola Taji, yeah, Kalindi coming back
I
to Esa.
was.
Yeah.
So I came, Ntara Esa was
Hmm.
like, Sunday I was like now transmitting the message. Minkera ngana ngafo. So chairman too was there now. Nyine kaminafo. Ntening Esa be muna discourse kan. Ata he wasn't knowing. So you could tell after chairman from the, you know, abe Kamfarine, he said, Esa said, let's give Yankuba a second chance.
Hmm.
Chairman read his statement already. So you could tell they were prepared. Even chairman's statement, look at it, it was prepared before the thing. So they were prepared. They knew Ko Yankuba was going to do this. So because I believe any investigator and research team I tell Fernandez at the time. So
Yeah.
I was it was very uncomfortable at some point, to be honest.
Yeah.
And the morning and we not like Yala Yankuba and Teko Mike. So I don't know for Michael Farina Malina. Someone attacked me at the TRRC, the staff of GRTS at the time. I wanted you know ako nya ko you did something very wrong. Nkai muna kita. Ako ha yanko ba Michael be farin ko yanko ba Michael Michael malinka be farin na ako nya yal ne man tonya. Okay, bro. So all of that same scenario could be doing
Hmm.
you could tell. So I know that person was sympathetic to Yankuba. I'm like, but it's not me. Ndema hake. So it was his own thing.
Hmm.
So at the end of the day, what happened. So mbi je wo kay because mobile sharing nyaminte I had to leave the TRRC that very moment from. I remember like Kebba D-Jobs. D-Jobs, so many people came, even D-Jobs was there. And the D-Jobs in the phone, in the vigil, I saw D-Jobs in the crowd. D-Jobs lent someone in motor. And we went to Chop Shop, I think, Caraba Avenue. Ngana boka domo phone kono fara tep ngasiro tilin seta Brikama. So that was it.
Now, finally, Mola,
Imam,
when
sorry.
all said and done, all of us certainly can agree that TRRC, um, I think, in many ways, was arguably one of the most important things that happened to the Gambia and for a lot of young people to get education and awareness of what was happening. And following the end of TRRC, recommendations came out of the TRRC report, and a number of people are supposed to be prosecuted. And it was until I think now it's nearly almost 10 years since then when TRRC was first instituted to where we are right now. And a lot of victims continue to ask for justice. They continue to wait for, the rightful reparations, because I think that's another question too. When you talk about reparations, people just think about money. And I'm
Facts, yeah.
interested to ask you that hopefully we can wrap up with this bit is really, given that Nyindoko Mbeke at the TRRC, in the end, yung awareness on Mimbe Natanang. And now we're literally still asking for a lot of money to prosecute a lot of people who are responsible, because what we have to realize is admission is not a substitute for justice. Kafu ko itele nyinke o letele mo fa wala sana sabali, for example, the testimony that he did does not necessarily mean he has to be excused for the things that he has done. And I had the opportunity to interview Fatmata Sande Nyolu, AVLO, and other victim organizations that are together in this. They're still waiting for justice because ila ulula miyalanku yefa ni okudol. The question is, which could be a little philosophical, and I don't want to be, is what is in fact justice? Um, if it takes us this long, as much as the transitional justice process is so important, but why do we have to spend so much money to do all of that job, and then we have to wait for additionally this long, and we have to go look for money again, in the
And
interim? Yete joko dola ibente jola salary la ka salary min din tolbela, even though me do ko la victim ol to sotala. How do we make victims central to this entire process? And also, most importantly, is if this new criminal division of the special prosecutor's office that now we're going to have, they're going to conduct whole new investigations again. And so one could argue that the most important thing that happened to TRC was the revelations. But it was not, and the revelations could also be used as evidence. But I think that's also contentious, because are we going to use some of the information that happened at the TRRC against the people who are indicted or charged before the TRRC? So I feel like I'm weaving a lot of things, but my question is, itafe munamu justice the nyimman sakunda have they failed the victims, even though we still take credit a lot in terms of TRRC, na TRRC sort of they have the reparations commission, na molo iten in them long, some of them are working there. But what should justice look like for victims who are still wallowing in despair, waiting for some difference to be made?
Yeah, like you said, the reparations bit. I think when you talk those eco reparations, people most of the time think or say, yeah, the money aspect, but money can never pay for, you know, like a parent that you lose. Like if sending for Mohammed Mule, every day they're going out there, every day with the Solo Sending Foundation. Recently, I think Mohammed was in Geneva and stuff like that, following these things. Because akita nyawa nyama, like you can never, so at least those people, Mili Alonko, Yaje, at least the family should see ko they are being held responsible. It's either you like Jamabije, what we do most times when these things happen is get jailed, you get prosecuted, and so on. None of that is happening unless no matter what amount of money you mean dealer. I don't think it can be satisfying to those people. So the justice in this case should be they make sure everyone me alonko like did this describe I don't know how to describe it because it's very painful because it's not something some of us like experience directly. It's not our parents and so on. But I believe like what they deserve is to make sure these people right now Momo Yale Dablata Kunin Kono, to be held accountable. Like the process TRRC and IDM, you continue life. That's not it. It has to go beyond that. The recommendations, even though they said, yeah, Franco, I told him, they've now hired, I think, a special prosecutor and so on. But we need to see something being done. The families need to see something moving. Niaja Mohamed Nyolbita Geneva and Blalto, because I think that case of Usman Sonko and yeah, I think the guy's name is Usman Sonko, the former interior minister,
And
Bitaji,
the other guy here in
some
America too. Yeah.
It's Korea guy, and even Germany, Jang, by law, people traveling, because they want to see that these things, at least that is some sort of relief for them.
Yeah.
So the families need to see, things are happening, things are moving. By now, you're not because the TRRC ended. I think the report of the TRRC recommendations were submitted before the 2021 elections, and now we're talking about the 2026 elections. So it's a long, long time of waiting. People, I don't know whether they know it, like, but families still want justice. They want answers. More than many island they haven't been said in the TRRC, probably will be said. That too, at least that information they receive, it's some sort of healing for them, but it has to go beyond that. Many island they were involved in it. Let them be held responsible. Everyone from A to Z.
Well, finally, Mola Kambi, I totally agree with you. What is your message to Gambians going into December? Given that political be during anin kuma furong financiada anin kuma kalabantel financiada bari fanang on top of that si fatam fancy kachalu financiada. In fact ite fon do long ila kewa do fon recently wo fanang he at fanang I want to let you go. I don't want to even go there. But really, what is your message of unity to Gambian Olu? Puruka Fahamko. Look, what unites us is bigger than what divides us. Kudolo miyalang kong ke kacha. We stick to the issue. There is a lot of problem with miyalang ko they happening in Gambia. We can focus on an address. Karemu fulol di walemu mandingkol di walemu surual di mu balantol di walemu munti. It should never matter. Yes, we are tribes. Being a sea also daming. But it should not be used politically for the divide than is necessary because nafawa nafatala because what coming common on the wrong it just brings chaos and problems and it happens in many other places. But what is your message of peace to Gambians in this very critical time getting into December elections?
So,
I know. Go ahead.
like, yeah, for Gambia, we are all one people. Ndela wuluran besiring, ndela kafutu. ndelle ka kol ke ñol ndelle ka ñola sangol to ndelle ka ñola kuliol to kaira anin kairo tan like you said, and starting with myself nga fo ne ko surwa ko nga surwa at least I manage mi yalan surwa mi yalan ko ninna muso safono right. So ndela muso first to start with is surwa. Yesterday mbeba was in Lamaikan, he mentioned the same thing like Obama, Jariat, Miro, and that Omero happens to be someone ngamilong because at some point no Naban Nambansang, he was living in Brikama, na street okanje, Fati Kunda Baba ya nyatling, so first second, like it's like they were family, but also in the sister. Minky Mamuni. I call her Mbinky because teacher and in that. So because of the relationship. So and Meroning Jariato, always we were together. So I know her. And I talked about my dad Laku. So Ndelia, like, everyone, we had all kind of tribes. Ndelia. Minkanan and J. You know, my dad's closest friends are all Jolas. Bamalan, Baji, Baidi, Bojang, you know, Uncle Bakari, Sifo, Baji. So these are the people, Milialong, almost all of them, it all state yal to go to school or so in their time or in their leave sort of thing. We go to Bese, well, Bamala and Bora Besele. So that Bese family. So from that phone, that aspect, starting Kata, Ndeko Lal Bele Manu, Nindara Lifola, you know, you have, I think it's Block Sutusin Yambajana, Jajil, no, yeah, Jajil Demban for Tuba, Kana Bese. So those areas, like these are people, it's like family. I mentioned Badara here, Badara Mufulol, but Badara is like my blood brother. And so many people in the Wulura. So we treat each other as one, and we are one. So this is what the message we need to send out to everyone. See, Fatam Fanso Mang, any space or in our politics, we need to respect each other. Now, politics kachakono, we make sure what we talk about is, like I said, ideas, the strategies or the policies you want to implement when you come into power. Those are the things we need to talk about. But kafoko mu karimu nyinsi karileti nyimbota jande. No, we don't need that in our politics. So we need to come together as one people, Gambia, Ndelbe Mokili, and make sure we develop our country. Come 2026 December, nga Adama Baro bon.
We UDP.
Ako niyamo vi na pabi nyelende.
Ha.
We need all pa. So
Anyway,
yeah.
yes, I just would like to end by saying that, Mola and I share a lot in common. And that's also because, people that have a lot of impact in Mola's life, I think to a great extent also has in mind. And I just want to give shout out to Musubako Do Saho for being such an incredible person to all of us and just supporting us together with Baba Galejalo, Alaji Baro, Horeja Balagay, people from TRRC and beyond, people that still make it a point to be involved in our life, and also to make it a point to make sure that we all make it through whatever careers that we're taking or whatever professional journeys, and to even a great extent, the personal life will move. They're very
Of
supportive. But
course.
also shout out to your
Of
mom for
course.
being my teacher, Auntie Ami, and in family Mume, because certainly you are who you are because somebody gave birth to you and nurtured you and loved you and took care of you and believed in you. So Auntie Ami also had a great impact on me. I was her class prefect. I was one of her brightest students in her class, and she loved me like her own. And she has always really appreciated our relationship too. So I just want to give her a shout out, but also your dad as well, and all the people that you and I know. But I also want to thank you
Probably
publicly.
my dad, probably he's in the comment section. Oh, he's watching. Because my sister, I'm on film for you, but my sister told me ko mola fake ramunela mfama e fene linking. So most definitely he saw it.
I'm pretty sure our comment section. But let me also quickly hasten to add that there's a lot of people that I also get to know through you. Kemo Bojang is one of them. Pata PJ is another person. I think even Nata, member comment section, although like all these individuals, wonderful human beings overall, are people that I've known, and I can go on. Seattle, I know them through Mola Kambi, because that's the kind of relationship we share. And I publicly want to really acknowledge and appreciate that, including Soljai, my very good friend too. So I appreciate you a lot. I appreciate your kindness, your humility. If I follow because I saw that off.
Yeah.
but I appreciate you a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's the same, man. There'll be everyone. So, but thank you so very much because I've never done this. I'm forced and take, I'm trying to make me feel self comfortable. But it's good. I think it's a good start for me. So, ning sama ni lato, you can take credit for it. Go, yes. I was the one at least who gave him the platform to say something.
Of
Even
course.
though
Of course. And
Nyada Katadulabirin, like you said, the TRRC, but I've never done something like this. Even I was telling someone, "You guy not having focusing." The guy is a trouble, some guy. So even yesterday, I was telling him, we spoke on the phone, not a damn for more than like close to 2 hours. We are talking about so many things about Gambia. So guy should be guy Ibrahim was saying me to do this. Even on Twitter, when people are doing spaces, I listen anonymously. I don't go public to listen to it. So because I don't know why. But but Ibrahim Dal, I have to let me just agree with him and do this. So thank you so very much. And talking about PJ and everyone, these are great people. And that is one thing UDP has done for me too. It has given me family. PJ is like, great bro. I think we last spoke yesterday or the day before. And in Kokuling, now it's like family, it's a big brother. And you don't have Kokono, any outside protocol. And PJ, like, he's one of those people, Ninga Kuke, Ning PJ Konyoko Abula. I'll make sure, yes, that is the kind of respect I have for him. And that is through UDP. And the Sifa Besiar. And these are unknown PJ, you see them, Nathaniel, you see them online writing, but these are highly intelligent people. These are part of the people Yalo, Gambia has in UDP. And also beyond UDP, I believe when the UDP government comes into power, it's not only UDP. Currently, we have partners, right? Yeah, that's the Gambia First Coalition. And obviously, so many people, you have so many intellect out there that is not affiliated to UDP or any other party that I know. Me along could will be of great use to the Gambia. You mentioned Alaji Barrow, you mentioned Baba Gale. Baba Alaji was responding to Doctor. He mentioned because security is his area. He's so passionate about it. Those guys, we have issues in Gambia. Alaji is not affiliated with UDP or any party that I know. He's independent, very. So those kind of people are the people UDP, I believe, we reach out to. It's not going to be like something confined. You have UDP call them. Banku do call them. Momo yalong ko. Alondo bewul. Hamo bela purka gambe doku. It's about time. UDP is the doors are wide open. Science and thinking. Momo after coming banko la nyarata you come join us. And we take Gambia to a promised land. To a promised land, rather, where I said, we to make sure we like get to a place like Mialanko, every Gambian, create equal opportunities for every Gambian to thrive. So basically, yeah.
Well, Ikwemang, you're not good at this, but I can tell you confidently that you're really good at this, and this is by far one of the favorite conversations that I've hosted on this platform. And I'm glad I'm able to do this with you because you've obviously been part of the journey for a very, very long time, and I'll continue to upset you with some of the people I host. But I think also you'll appreciate that at least I'm bringing people, me and Uncle, they have dissenting opinions and sometimes even troublesome opinions. But I appreciate you a lot, and I want to
No, I
thank all
think
of
I
our.
think more.
Mhm.
I think most times, you bring people that upset will upset me or do upset me. Nah, man. Because you keep mentioning Sol, yeah. So when you talk to Sol, say hi.
I will tell Sol hi. Yes, I'll definitely make sure
Yes.
I let Sol know. But Mafla be Albeko anti Kadi Dija restaurant Natamas Bakari MY Kante Kuta Kambi. I suspect that's your dad. Our comment section hotel. We want to tell everybody. Mola, is that your dad? There is another Kambi on the comments. Kunta Kambi.
Oh, Kunta is my uncle.
Okay, okay. I thought
Kunta lives
it's a
in
pseudo
Black
name.
Kunta, yeah.
Yes, yes. Sanaketa.
No,
A lot
Kunta,
of
yeah, that's
people.
his name. His name is Kunta Kambi. So he lives.
Alima, yes, Alima Fanambe Tonye can comment. So I'm,
Alima
you know,
Jata. Alima
yes,
Alima Mumbinkret.
Okay. Don't for them Binkilo.
You know, Gambia is small. Gambia is small. So I didn't want big lady. So
Yeah.
everyone out there. But you do for DJ. DJ, you know, I problem share. At a lot na fatu rembula. So
Okay,
yeah,
nte la
safe
fe
no
dan la
ka.
kukel na dara ma ko fatu repurunga interview mba fuka mobile and I'm putting it publicly too. She's not a talker. She likes to interview people, but in Dafanang, I want to be the first person to bring her out and have a conversation to celebrate a lot of the important work that she's doing. But for people to also know our story fanang. So nimbe dan la kula ye barako lankang fa ibake la manual tibam purina murumbang just to make that happen, please.
Yeah,
By
but I'll
all means.
talk to her. But so I'll say, yeah, Fatu, great human being. Ngaja na kunung people were posting after her interview about Bowsen. I think a couple of people were attacking her for whatsoever reason, malo. But I think
But ka attack le
what
dorong.
people need to understand is Fatu. Yeah, Fatu is doing her job. She gives platform to every political party or every
Mhm.
group and everyone. So she's an amazing human being, one of the best people out there. So Fatu, keep doing you. Keep doing you. So inshallah, I hope you'll be one of the first people that will post UDP la victory though.
Oh, I'll be more than
Alhamdulillah
happy
follow.
to. I'll be more than happy to. I'll be more than
Yes.
happy to. I'm not a hater.
Thank
I
you.
have a they said I have a soft spot for UMC, but what they don't get is I actually have a softer spot for UDP because I've been a distant member, not a official member, but you know that. You can be open and honest about that. You know that. But Niben Attacker online, you don't come and defend me. You don't call me to console
No,
me. You
no,
don't
no.
say
No,
anything.
ñin defend ko problème ñin defend ko problème oldi de mbala fe ñin koy man defend problème mo len de abuka made ñim defend ko I hope you get where I'm going. ñin defend ko problème oldi de abuka made ñim mun tan oldi de. So but yeah, that's it. So hope but there are people in or people who are close to UMC that even believe. Na Modou bi you know, I will not mention his name. He's a good brother. We talk almost every day. Even today, he sent me the link. Kabring as and like I know most definitely. Nga ko, I was waiting for this from you, but often I mira la konye elabo whether krip karab. So many people think so. So I hope you'll bring more, especially towards the election. You'll bring more people. You said, Mr. Sana, you mentioned him. He's in Gambia right now. I'll call him right after this. Nga fa ko go to Ibrahim's place. We have so
I
many
mean,
people,
Mola,
young
Ibrahim,
people.
Ibrahim, Inka mold me interview from UDP that I know more than anywhere else. You know this, and I know this as well. So I don't even know. I mean, if I'm in
I hope
UMC, I
I
keep
think
saying
I can identify people that you will bring on. You can bring on Nata.
I had
I guess
Nata.
you guys are.
I had Nata.
You can bring him again. We are going towards since so many people follow you. You can bring in Nata. You can bring in.
Nata is coming back.
I'll identify
Even
people.
Pata. Listen, Alaji S Dabo is coming on Saturday. Let me announce that right now. Alaji S Dabo is gonna be here as
Very
well
good.
on Saturday. And as I'm talking to you, Pama Nining, LT Leban Call Science Center, we're also trying to set that up. But I've interviewed a lot of UDP, but I also have to interview UMC people. I also have to interview APRC people. I have to interview Barona Molfanang. And then that's different from
Of
Nanga
course, I
other
agree.
intellectual conversational finance. But I'm not going to say I don't have my biases. I'm a human being. But if I'm part of any political party, well, I'll tell you that. I'm a Gambian. I have rights like everybody
Of
else.
course, you have the right.
Exactly.
You know.
You know. So
But
anyway,
yeah,
we
thank
have
you so very much. You know,
Mhm.
guy, thank you so very much for this. At least we
Of
had a
course.
good conversation and I appreciate everything, the love. So keep doing what you're doing. You're also doing an amazing job because
Of course.
Molkat la falanyere. Yeah, Elabo Ibrahim and so on. Na Uncle Dole bija koji. Oh, but he also feels that you are not very fair to UDP. He keeps complaining. He lives in Germany here. Kabrin
Okay,
guy
now
ko Ibrahim wants me to appear. Akonyeko. No, but Tarek. So so many people, but that you are doing a great job. At least
okay, I'll do
near
better.
Mulbofla. So people believe because you are UMC or you are UDP or whatsoever. So that's good. At least
I'll do better.
you
I'll
can
do
get
better. The one
Malmo
thing I know,
Sifandoro.
I know. No, hey, can I now bull football attack why? Mobile free why? Anyway, Allah baraka babake.
Yeah.
You all take it easy. Thank you all once again. Alamati Loto Diala. Look forward to seeing you all tomorrow, inshallah. Mola, baraka babake.